This is a hand-painted flying fish, hand-painted by me, Ann Kalber. It's 7 feet, 10 inches long, and it is available for sale. You can find it at onhawaiiantimepodcast.com or fast and easy, oht.rocks. And it's available for sale in our merch department.
Theme music, please. Aloha, everybody. Welcome to On Hawaiian Time. I'm Mick Kalber.
I'm Bruce Omori.
And you are On Hawaiian Time. Okay, so welcome, everybody, to another show. We've been bringing you shows on the four of us, and everybody knows us, and we know what we think of each other. So we have a special guest today, and we'll find out what he thinks about us. No. That's not right. Who is our special guest today, Bruce?
Our guest today is my buddy and 14-time Hoku Award winner, Mark Yamanaka.
Yay!
Come on, guys.
Woo!
6 o'clock in the morning, like hoping to get me going. I hit it to the south side of the island. The sun just started rising, now my new vocalizing. It's going to be a beautiful day. As I kalaiwa iuka on the slopes of Mauna Loa, never-ending beauty makes me smile. Kalehuaula, the kamamo, and the nene flying by. Smoke from the crater, hale ma'u, rising high into the sky. Just a few things on my morning drive. As I finish climbing, the road starts getting windy. Kupawa in my speakers singing bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Ka'u desert on my left, Kapapala on my right. I'm so blessed to live on Hawaii. As I kalaiwa iuka from the slopes of Volcano, the never-ending beauty makes me smile. Na manu pikake, despede hulu, catch my maka every time. Huehu kalepo, in Pahala, same old people driving by. Just a few things on my morning drive. All these beautiful things on my morning drive. Morning drive. That song was composed back in 2017 with my wife and I, and we had fun pretty much depicting her morning drive from Hilo to Pahala High School, Ka'u High School rather. And it just lists a whole bunch of beautiful things she sees along the way. And it was very fun composing that with my wife. Tough too.
So, Mick, what have you been
Gee,
up
I don't
to?
know. I don't even remember. I'm reading Ecotopia. I think I said that last week. Ecotopia is about the part of the United States that broke away, seceded from the rest of the United States, and that's a pretty interesting book.
I don't remember hearing about that last week. I think that's fresh.
Oh, well, there you go. It's pretty interesting. You know, it's like part California, Washington, Oregon, they all broke away from the United States and formed their own country. And it's pretty good. I like it.
Awesome.
Cool.
How about you, Anne?
Let's see. I've been painting more flying fish. And
Nice.
glad to have one that's up for sale on the website, On Hawaiian Time podcast.com.
Great.
So we're putting one up for sale, anyone who would like one. And if you live on the Big Island, it comes with a 30-foot long bamboo pole. So there you go. That's fun. And
Awesome.
mostly out in the yard, taking care of just staying home. I mean, this is the first time I've been out all week, so it's nice to be out. Thanks for having us up here at Volcano Winery. I love it.
Isolation is a good thing sometimes.
It is.
Mark, have you
Yes, sir.
been streaming anything?
Not really. I watch Big Brother with my wife, and that's kind of the consistent show that we look forward to every Sunday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But I think they moved from Sunday to Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Big Brother on CBS.
And what's that about?
It's almost like a human chess game. So they have a bunch of contestants that get isolated in this one house studio, and almost like Survivor, you gotta vote people out of the house. It's pretty addicting.
It's kind of like at our house, honey.
I know, but I'm always outside.
I know, but
How does
Yeah,
that
so
work?
it's getting towards the end of this season, so it's getting nail biting and a lot of drama, hurt feelings, anger, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
life.
So
cool.
yeah, if you guys have a chance, check it out. It's fun to watch,
Awesome.
and that's about it. I don't really watch stuff.
Yeah.
I like documentaries if I watch, but
Yeah.
Did anybody watch the documentary about Pete Sousa, the photographer that
The way
shot?
I see it.
Oh my God.
He's,
It is
he's
so
one of my
fantastic.
favorite shooters.
You have
I
got to
love
see
that.
it. You've
I
got
love
to
it.
see it.
It's a great, great show. Great pictures and great stories.
Nice.
Really wonderful.
Where can we see that?
Well, it was on last night on MSNBC. I don't know where else it will be carried.
It'll
up.
pop up again on
You know-
NBC,
yeah,
and
you
you
know it
can
will.
rent it on Amazon, but it is incredible.
Yeah, don't miss that one.
Speaking of documentaries, I watched My Octopus Teacher.
Oh, I want to see
Oh,
that. That's
man.
on my list.
What a great doc.
what is that about, Bruce?
It's about a photographer, actually a filmmaker, and he tries to escape life by spending time in the ocean. And he actually sees this octopus and starts following it. And yeah, he sees this octopus in the same spot, every day. And he got to a point where the octopus recognized him.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And allowed him to get close and actually touch him. And so he followed this octopus for, I think, a year or a year and a half. Yeah. Until that thing completed its life cycle and laid eggs and everything and died.
Oh
Actually, at the
wow.
end.
But it must have been traumatic for the guy.
I gave away the ending.
Oh, darn. Wasn't it? And they lived
Way
happily
to go,
ever
Bruce.
after.
Bruce spoiled the fun.
That was so interesting, though, I took a little bit of time off from social media this past week. I mean, I was still on there for like 3 days, but really, there's value in doing other things, rather than spending hours in front of the computer.
Like visiting the Volcano Winery where we are today. We forgot to mention we were here.
Doesn't get much better than that.
And seeing our good friends,
Absolutely.
like Marie,
Yeah.
Alex, and Susie,
Aloha.
and of course, Mark.
Hey, nice to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
thanks for
Thanks for
joining
being
us.
Yeah.
He's in the hot seat
It's
today.
all about you, Mark.
Please.
So we want to know a little bit about your backstory. We know that you were born on Oahu, but your family moved over to Hilo in your early life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go from the beginning. My parents are from Hawaii Island,
Ah,
and Dad went to Vietnam. Mom kind of did her thing. They met up when Dad got back, and then I don't know what took them to Oahu, but they got together and they moved to Oahu and started started the family. And had us 3, my older brother, me, and my younger sister. So 3 of us. And then immediately after my sister was born, I think that was 84, they moved us. They wanted to move back.
I see.
Because I guess they could foresee the traffic, just the headache of being there. Because we're actually living in Mililani, and we're going to school in the Kahala area.
Wow. Oh, that's a long drive.
Yeah, and and so they didn't work there either. My mom worked at the Kaiser Hospital where the Hawaii Prince is. And then my dad worked at Gaspro, which was on Dillingham, near the Kalihi area.
Yeah, by the interchange.
So, it was a lot of back and forth stuff. And, I think, the quality of life was more ideal here. Yeah, so, and that's our story, our beginnings over here in Hilo. And, we got to build our relationships with our cousins and grandparents. And, and I loved my childhood, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to Hilo Union?
Hilo Intermediate, and then Hilo High School.
Yeah, go Vikings.
Vikes.
Hilo all the way.
When did you graduate?
1998.
98.
Feels like yesterday, but it's not really. Man, time flies, man.
Yeah,
Once you're out of high school, I feel like it's just,
Oh, man. Yep.
Yeah.
you know,
Downhill after that.
I'm just, when I was probably in high school, I would think 40 years old is old. And I admit, I'm like, holy smokes. My son just graduated last year, high school.
Yeah.
So, it's just things that make you feel old and life that just gives you old. Man, yeah, and that's the Hilo beginnings. And as far as the music side, I feel like if I remained on Oahu, I don't think I would have been the musician that I am. Maybe I'd find some part in singing somewhere, but
Why not? Why do you say that, Mark?
because I actually was influenced heavily by my mom's mom and grandpa. At their household, they used to spin all kinds of local music all the time, and primarily a lot of it was Hawaiian falsetto singing. And they used to rave about these artists. And my grandpa used to say, that's a guy singing, and it was all the falsetto stuff. So I was like, really? I was so intrigued. For some reason, it just kind of stuck with me. And, my parents worked at the Hilo Medical Center for quite some time, and a lot of great friends of theirs, used to kanikapila in a garage at parties, at gatherings, and I used to be around that a lot. And so all of that was just around me. And when I went to Hilo Intermediate, the Keokaha kids, we all meet up. Hilo Union, Keokaha, I think where else? Kaumana. All that, those complex schools goes in Hilo Intermediate. So I got to meet some right on Hawaiian kids, and that used to just jam on the ukulele. I was heavily into basketball back then. Like that's all I ever wanted to do, is be the first Japanese in the NBA. I want to be the Japanese Michael Jordan.
That's great.
And I was playing basketball, and these Hawaiian kids was jamming on the ukulele. And they used to hang around me because they wanted to play basketball. I wanted to learn that. I want to learn that ukulele thing. And it's so funny because I always tell a story, but when I was at Hilo Union School, in the 4th grade, there's a mandatory ukulele class. You have your primary class, and then a certain time in a day, you go to another class for, I don't know how long it is, and you have to learn ukulele. And back then I was like, no, not for me. I don't want to do this. So I learned nothing back then. But yeah, once I saw those kids playing ukulele and, you know, doing popular songs, I was like, that is cool. I want to do that. And that's kind of how my life changed right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So at what point was it when your parents were at Hilo Medical Center that you met Johnny Lamho?
I met Uncle Johnny, it must have been 1997.
97. Okay.
Yeah, so I was still learning a lot on my own and from peers and stuff like that. But Kuana Torres Kahele actually brought me to the studio, the Halal studio, which was where downtown KTA is.
Yeah.
There was Jimmy's Archery, Flipside Bar, all right there on Mamo Street,
Yeah.
and then KTA.
Yeah.
Uncle Johnny's studio was above all that, above Jimmy's Archery and above Flipside.
Oh.
So he was on the top,
Right on the corner there.
right on the corner. So Kuana took me there and introduced me to Uncle Johnny, and I've pretty much been with Uncle Johnny ever since then. And so I'd learn, watch, learn, listen, all that stuff. And that was 20. I don't know how long ago is that. Where are we? Anyway, he obviously he was years younger, so he's still very, very strict, and
Oh, yeah.
so I've seen him mellow out.
Yeah.
But I've gained so many experiences and opportunities through him, and
Yeah.
he was my first trip to Japan
Oh, really?
back in '99, I think.
Nice.
And ever since I learned that Hawaiian music and hula and the culture was a huge hit in Japan, which is probably around the '97 year, I was like, that was my dream to go to Japan. So it took a couple of years before they went again. So '99, I think we went, and I had a blast.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, can I jump in for a second? I'm really curious about the Hawaiian music and how it's been received in Japan, because I never knew that there was sort of that connection until recently. So what's kind of the story behind that?
I don't know the real story, but I know that if you kind of break down the cultures, it's really similar. The respect, the spirituality of it, everything. It's kind of like, going down the same path. Regardless what happened back then, there was some kind of connection. From my understanding, some of the kumuhulas like Uncle Johnny Lamho, from my understanding, he started going up in the 70s with George Naope, folks like that. And I don't know. I think it just became a hit, and before you know it spread, and I mean it's a huge thing up there. Yeah. You're talking millions of people interested in Hawaiian music and hula.
Yeah. I can remember as a kid these busloads of Japanese tourists. Yeah. Jack's Tours. They used to fly in from Japan, and the volcano was a big thing. They love the volcano. They love the orchids.
Yeah.
And Hilo was like a hot spot. And it just drew the Japanese tourists in.
And even Mary Monarch, now we have halaus from Japan, which is incredible. And to know the number of halaus.
There are tons.
And they are like enthralled, everything Hawaiian. I mean, it's just they so appreciate it when you go to the craft fairs and things like that it's sad that this year we weren't able to have Mary Monarch.
Yeah.
But boy, that was incredible.
Yeah, Mary Monarch's a huge driving force behind the connection there. Yeah. Every year. And unfortunately, pandemic and stuff. But I mean, from my understanding, There's a lot of the kumos are still doing virtual stuff with their halau up in Japan and stuff. So yeah, these Japanese, don't mess with them, man. They want to be Hawaiian.
I love it. And so, how were you treated when you went to Japan? What was that like for you?
It's an experience. Yeah, they take care of us. They take care of us very well. Part of the reason why I look like this.
So handsome.
Partly because of my stature as far as the Hawaiian music is concerned. And I think a little bit it has to do with my last name being Japanese and from the islands. It's just, it intrigues them to a certain degree. Always a fun time up there.
Have you gone frequently or not?
I haven't gone for over 2 years now. For me, that's a long time. Life happens. I just recently got married to my wife 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And mahalo to Marie guys too. They supplied some of the wine.
Absolutely. That's a great wedding reception.
Volcano Winery.
Volcano Winery has some fans in the Bay Area, I tell you. But Japanese are they're very into the newest things. So with that said, I haven't made a CD for 5 years. So 2013 was the last one prior to my latest one in 18. So you can get erased pretty easily if you don't come up with new stuff, which, I didn't really care, honestly. I had life to work on, wife to work with. Oh, that's not her. But it wasn't. To some degree, you gotta hustle. Like I could have gone, it just wasn't my priority to go. So it's been. I think November is gonna make 3 years I haven't gone.
Wow. And so, what kind of crowds? I mean, what were the size of the audiences?
It varied. I've agreed to small performances, which would be like in a restaurant where it could hold maybe 50 to 70 people. I've been in those venues, and then I've been into smaller theaters where it holds 1,000, and then it goes up. I mean, probably the biggest crowd I performed for was probably like 7,000 people.
Wow.
But I have an easier time with those though. They're so far away. But the close ones, I get a hard time.
We have a friend, Ben Kaila. You probably know Ben.
Yes, Ben.
He goes over there all the time.
Yeah.
Not during COVID, I don't suppose, but earlier he was over there almost as much as he was here.
Yeah.
They love you guys, don't they?
Japan, at one point I was going maybe to like between 7 to 9 times a year.
Wow.
Japan.
That's a ton.
Compared to some of my peers though, that's kind of minor. Some of my peers would go like every other week.
How long, when you went, how long would you stay?
It varies. I didn't really like spending a long time there. Every time I'd agree, I'd just say, you know what, I gotta be home in 7 days. Yeah, because on the road is hard. It's hard. I've been offered tours that will leave you there for a month, and I'm not into that. To some degree, too, reason why I don't really hustle all the time there is just I gotta maintain a fan base here, which is benefiting me now during these times, because a lot of some other peers that totally like seriously made their mark there in Japan, and that's all they focused on. They didn't really have much of a following here. So, if they were to perform live or even live streams, that probably could affect them to some extent.
Being on the road's tough.
It's tough. Yeah, just living out of a suitcase.
Yeah.
Japan hotel rooms is not the biggest. If any of you have been there, it's you're literally sleeping with your suitcase. So it's tough. City to city, you're in a foreign country, and I don't speak Japanese. I don't understand. So, every day, can you imagine like a few weeks of that just kind of gets to you a little bit, to me anyway. But I don't want to sound ungrateful for the opportunities, because every opportunity I took up there was shaka.
So the Merry Monarch experience.
Yeah.
That's such an incredible event, because when I look at the Hawaiian culture as a whole, that Merry Monarch Festival seems like it is carrying the torch for the culture, the biggest cultural event in the state.
Right.
Bringing together language, music, and the art of hula.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an awesome privilege and honor to be associated with that.
Uh-huh.
And like for you performing, what is that experience like for you?
A lot of stress. That's the first word that comes to mind. Stress.
Yeah.
But there is that, that honor and privilege to be able to be a part of whatever year you do. And it's just, because, majority of the time you're being hired to, accompany the dancers, right? Mm-hmm. And you're being hired to do it as you practiced. And, when it comes time to be in the pit with cameras and I don't know what the capacity, 7,000, 5,000 people, live audience, and then probably maybe the mentality of knowing people are watching at home or on the state, live streaming from wherever they're watching it from, it's just can get to you. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Every time I plugged in and ready to go, I was always nervous.
Really?
Yeah. Even after I unplug, walking off, I'm still shaking. Wow. The adrenaline, everything.
Such an incredible event. So photogenic, so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, Auntie Luana's got it going on with that, man.
Yeah.
You got to give it to her, because that's a big dog. You got to take care of. Yeah. So many aspects of it. But from a musician standpoint, it's not about us. But you put the pressure on yourself though to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. Yeah, it's an interesting feeling. It's probably the biggest stage in Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah. One of your songs, I love all the songs that you've written and the songs you've recorded. But this one song, Morning Drive, is awesome, because every time I listen to that, these visuals come to mind.
Awesome.
You talk about...
that's the idea. That was the idea behind writing the song, is to, transport people to those areas and the things that they may see.
As I kalaiwa iuka on the slopes of Mauna Loa, the never-ending beauty makes me smile. Kalehua ula the kapapo and the nene flying by, smoke from the crater hale ma'u ma'u, rising high into the sky.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh man, every time I'm driving this way, that song comes to mind. And vice versa. When I'm listening to that, I always think about seeing that plume from Halimau Ma'u.
Yeah,
of course, we don't see that anymore.
Right.
But then we have Kapapala Ranch.
Yes.
On the right, Yeah. And it's just so awesome,
Yeah. So Morning Drive, I composed that one. I think we composed it in 2017. And it depicts my wife's commute. She used to work at Ka'u High School for 3 years. And,
nice.
The automatic response when Leilani would say she works there. When you people would ask, people, oh, where do you work? Oh, Kau High School. Oh, you live in Hilo. So the reaction from people was just like, it was getting tiresome, yeah. Almost discouraging to a point. Because naturally, when people work, they want to work near home. And, I guess 1 hour drive one way is a lot.
Yeah.
It's always leads to, what time you got to leave Hilo? So she wanted to, kind of just huli everybody's mentality and kind of like send a message like it's not that bad. It really is not a bad drive. It's just like curvatures, but it's a pretty straightforward drive.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was the idea, was to kind of take people there and appreciate the things she used to see.
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest thing was to document the plume.
Yeah.
Smoke from the crater.
Smoke from the crater. Yeah, because it's it's no longer anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that's the fun thing about songwriting is a lot of songs document a period in time.
Yeah.
That some only hear of or some got to experience, and it just takes people to that time and or remind people what was going on.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And I also know that several songs, a lot of your songwriting is based around your ohana.
Yeah, that's it. Family is the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
And, as far as, it's kind of a blessing in disguise that I'm not traveling and going here and going there for work, because I get to see my baby grow up right in front of my eyes. And, I think under normal circumstances, I probably would have missed out on quite a bit of things. So, but yeah, I get to, I always try to write songs about family or family related, because that's the driving force behind what I do. So
one of your values.
Yeah. So I'm working on getting ideas for my baby.
Yeah,
nice. I already one for my older daughter.
Yeah, and I love that song.
Kaleo Nalani.
Yeah,
which actually we're so blessed that we received the Song of the Year award for that one in 2011.
My baby girl, you are my world. You know you'll always be. Kaleo o Nalani.
Morning Drive was awarded Single of the Year too. So I was pretty stoked. Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Even that song about grandma's love.
Yeah, that one I wrote for my grandma, my dad's mom. She passed away in 2015, and very soft spoken, lighthearted woman. And always smiling, and it's always so pleasant, and I just wanted to pay tribute to her.
There's nothing like a grandma's love. There's no one quite like you. Wish I could see you smile once more, like you used to do. Like you used to do.
It was one of those times where you kind of expect it, like, I'm going to get asked to sing at their funeral or a memorial service, so you will start turning like, okay. And the whole week I was like, I don't know what I'm going to sing. I don't know. You always immediately you start looking for that perfect cover song to, pay tribute to, and couldn't find it. So the night before I just,
Wow, that's incredible.
that should be the first instinct is to, I'm gonna write a song. But my confidence level sometimes is not. So immediately, the first instinct is to go look for a cover song that would fit best the person but couldn't do it. So I ended up writing that song for my grandma for her service. So yeah, I sang it, and immediately after, everybody's like, "Oh, what a beautiful song! You should record it." I was like, "Oh." It's tricky with songs that personal. Yeah. The music side is telling me, yeah, you should record it, and but the personal side is like, no, that's too personal. Yeah.
You probably gave a gift to many people that were going to be in that same situation, that wanted to say those same words to honor their grandmother.
Yeah, I've gotten numerous messages saying that, that song, means a lot. I just lost my grandma and stuff like that. And, even with Kaleo Nalani, I was not going to record that song at all. I was this close to saying no.
Oh, really? I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I got the nudge from people. You should record it. Yeah, so that was, that was fun. I actually had a good friend of mine, Sean Ishimoto, record all the tracks for that as far as the music, and I just went in there and sang it.
Nice.
So sometimes you just gotta know your role for the better. And I was like, I'm not fit to play the music in the song. So I hired my friend Sean Ishimoto. So yeah, it was fun. But yeah, a lot of my songs are family oriented.
So you've got that beautiful song about Leilani as well.
Yeah. Where is she anyway? Oh, taking care of baby. She's a great mom. Yeah, that was actually, I was sitting in her grandma's house with her, and I had this classical guitar, and I was just, sometimes you just doodle, similar with artists. So I was doing the same with the guitar, and just words start coming out, and that's kind of what came out. And I don't know, for some reason why. Of course, she didn't want it on the album, but I was like, no, it's all right.
I want to say good morning to your pretty smile, Leilani. It's a straightforward song, straight from the heart.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
The songs about your ohana are touching and moving and everything. I love each and every one of them. Another thing that you sing that really moves me is you do a hymn, How Great Thou Art.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Moves me to tears.
Thank you. I mean, that was a song that my grandmother encouraged me. My mom's mom, who encouraged me to do Hawaiian music and some church music, and she when my grandpa died, her husband, she had asked if I could do How Great Thou Art at his service. So that's kind of how that song transpired into my repertoire, and we had some translators to make sure the old translation is good and put everything together. And the recording actually has the Honolulu Boys Choir on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so
it's a nice touch.
Those kids are probably grown men now.
Oh, really?
That was because I released that back in 2010. So they had to be at least 10 years old. At least, or even older, when they had, because they all have high-pitched voices.
Yeah.
So. I had the Honolulu Boys Choir. The producer, Kale Chang, who produced it, was actually the director of the choir. So he, from what I understand, I wasn't there when they recorded it. From what I understand, because there was a bunch of them, it's not like they could provide headphones for every kid. So they went and recorded without headphones. That's how disciplined they were. They can just watch him conduct, and they weren't even listening to any track. They were just singing by his direction.
Really? Awesome.
So
incredible.
That's I've yet to have somebody come up to me and say, "Oh, I sang on that song." I never experienced that yet. So maybe one of these days
You will. It'll happen.
Hey, uncle, they're gonna call you. Uncle. Hey, uncle.
Awesome. Love that song.
But yeah, I tend to close my shows and performances with that song.
Yeah. Nice. And then you have this one song about our favorite sport, golf.
That's very near and dear to my family too. It's a family song. Yeah, I wrote that. I wrote that Pa'ani Kolepa is the name of the song, which means play golf, and wrote that one back in 2000. Might have been 2000. Might have been 99 or 2000. One of those. I was in college, and I was taking Hawaiian language at University of Hawaii Hilo.
I see.
So I was like, fooling around with the language and just trying my very best. And so although golf is in people's minds a slow sport, right? Just kind of, but if you kind of play the game, you understand the follies.
We do. Right?
That's about all I understand about golf. The folly.
It's just that's the only way you can describe it to people. If you had to describe it to people, people would get bored if you really describe it how it's visualized. Yeah. So I put it into song. It's kind of an upbeat, fast song, and takes you on this journey of. The song basically says it's a beautiful day. The sun is out. Let's go golf. And then, e holo holo kaua, let's go. Let's go play golf and swing you Luna, swing up, swing down, and swing with assurance, swing strong.
Kaika, right?
Yeah. So, and it takes you into this minor section of the song where it's awe is like, whoops. Awe kikio, I think it's what is that? Water pond, sand bunker, and then ends up in the bushes. And then ekatonk makeka akolepa, which is hits the golf cart. So it kind of takes you to this funny journey of yeah, because it's fun, and then the end of the song is basically saying you're just trying to get it in the hole, and but I'm so sore and tired, so
what's your handicap?
Oh boy. When I wrote the song? Back then I was probably a 10.
Wow.
It's it's a lot of skipping classes to go golf.
No, it's called practice.
Exactly. But now I don't know. I don't know even what to expect now. But the last time I played, I think it was over here, Volcano. Sad to see it kind of vacant, but
I saw some people out there playing today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, don't tell him that. You guys will all head off to the course.
I guess I played right before they closed. Just before the fire, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know when it was that. Was it this year?
We played
year.
after the
Last
fire.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're working out a little hut.
Yeah.
Shot an 83.
Oh, nice.
Which for me, I maybe I go maybe 2 times a year, if even.
He can't play with us. He's way too good for
Definitely
us.
not.
It all depends how you're feeling, how your body's gonna cooperate, and your mind. Those two gotta be in sync, man. Your mind, your abilities. It's just.
I always thought golf was, a wonderful hike in a beautiful place ruined. Right?
Isn't that a Mark Twain quote or something?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I think for us amateurs, though, you gotta go in with no expectations. Otherwise, you're just gonna be a sad day. Because one hole can really ruin it for you, yeah? Or one shot can.
We just have fun. If you're not having fun, it's like playing bridge. You play for fun. If you're playing serious, too hard already.
Yeah, but always get that one guy though. Huh?
Yeah, right.
Drop in, F-bombs and this and that.
Right.
That's Bruce, right?
Oh, is it Bruce? Oh, okay. I've never seen that side of Bruce yet, though.
No,
Not yet.
just kidding.
But prior to the show, we were just making plans to go, so
Nice.
we'll see.
Bruce just usually says shucks.
Oh, shucks. Okay. Yeah. That's a good go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But golf, good fun, though.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We need to.
Yeah.
We need to just scratch the itch.
One more question
Yes,
about
sir.
your music. I noticed that there's a lot of country western influence in some of the songs you perform.
Yeah.
And does that come from our, Paniolo culture here on the island, or is there another source of inspiration?
For as long as I could remember, I knew I was decent at, imitating the twang. But in 97, my brother went to school up in Pullman, Washington State University.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd come home with the latest and greatest songs that he'd listen to during the semester or whatever time it was. So the first song he introduced me to was "Don't Take the Girl" by Tim McGraw. And I was like, holy smokes, I like this song. This is a cool song. So ever since then, I was a fan of country music.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest though, I don't like the latest country stuff. Just being honest. It's losing the real acoustic guitar sound, fire pit, campfire kind of sound.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Hawaiian music is kind of changing too. It's not having that real chalang-a-lang style. Everybody's incorporating piano and strings and full orchestra with Hawaiian music, which is cool. But I'm just so used and brought up with the whole ukulele chalang-a-lang with the steel guitar. So
of the hundreds, I don't know how many there were, of Hawaiian musicians, who are your favorites?
I'd have to say there's a handful of them. But as far as what I listened to perfect my craft, was always Gary Haleamau, who's from Kona, now lives in Vegas. Dennis Pavao, of course, the late Dennis Pavao, who was part of the Hui Ohana with Ledward Ka'apana and his twin brother, Nedward, Nicky Boy Ka'apana, all which hail from Kalapana.
Yeah.
Hawaii Island, plenty of Hawaii Island greats, man.
Yeah.
Those would have to be my top. Hui Ohana and Gary Haleamau will probably they just presented a different sound, which we all label as musicians, we label it as the Big Island sound. It's kind of what I grew up with. What is so ono to the ear, so to speak. It's just like I can sit down under this cork tree and listen to that all day long. As long as it's not raining on me, but just that kind of music will just soothe my soul.
Mark, you mentioned a little earlier, like you had a lack of confidence with, was it songwriting or just playing?
Everything.
Surprised me.
Yeah, I guess, as a young kid, I just never was a real confident person. You know, the only thing I was confident about is basketball, and I'm still confident that I can beat people down the road in basketball. And my wife will tell you. I always say, you know, I was the best at basketball. Like, it really was. I thought I was like, but you know, I still have a lot of insecurities, and naturally though, as a human being, I'm just a shy person. So I think that has a lot to do with my confidence and stuff like that. So,
you know, Mark, for a shy person, self-proclaimed shy person, I think you're one of the best guests we've ever had here.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
For sure.
No, really. Great. Wonderful.
Thank you, Mick.
And from the heart. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Well, my parents, you know, they brought me up everything from the heart. So you gotta follow through with that.
So what would you say to somebody who is watching or listening who is shy, who wants to be a performer? Like, how do you get over that hurdle?
There's moments as you go along that will boost your confidence. For me, it was having all the local uncles, Uncle Piggy Kaleohano, who else? Plenty. Uncle George Naope, Uncle Johnny Lamho. All of them along the way will give you some sort of glimmer of hope and light that, hey, you're on the right track. Keep going. You know, so, and to have those gentlemen respect what I was doing and how I was doing it, was already, you know, that really just took me to that level where, okay, I can do this. You know, because I mean, if you wanna reflect back to a little section I didn't mention, when I was in high school, I never wanted to carry my ukulele because I was shy and shame. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know, but some people don't know, but I'm not Hawaiian by blood. So my mentality during high school was like, I shouldn't be carrying this ukulele around because I don't want the koko in me. So I went through that whole time feeling insecure about what I was doing. So, but I kept at it. Like I said, met up, did things in front of Uncle Piggy Kaleohano, all these guys that I looked up to growing up, and they would always compliment and encourage. So those, you got to understand who's above you. And when they give you feedback or compliments, you have to know that it's coming from a real place. So I took that to heart. Another person was Skylark Rossetti, who we lost, and man, I miss her so much. She was always so supportive of me. Yeah, and you know, there's been times where she was not my favorite auntie, but from the heart came, yeah. Her teachings, her scoldings, or whatever you want to call it, you know, that helped shape me into the person or the musician that I am. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know, and I really don't boast that, but Auntie Sky was a huge supporter of mine and always encouraged. Yeah, because, you know, I latched onto her because I know she had so much insight on the industry and so much experience with different artists. So, you know, I really respected what she said.
Helps to win a few awards too, doesn't it?
That too.
She was great.
Yeah, she actually wrote my liner notes for my first CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was I needed her blessing. Yeah.
I think the takeaway for me is do it from here. You know, do it from the heart. And that's what I would take away from myself, you know, because that's the way I try to live my life if possible. Spend too much time up here, but it's good to make the 18-inch drop down to here. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of go wrong with that, huh?
Yep.
From the heart.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's great to meet the voice and the songs that I love, to meet the real person, and I really appreciate that. And the humbleness of what goes into, it's one thing to get up, perform, but the background to it and to know what you've gone through, I really, really appreciate that.
Thank you, Ann.
I really do.
Quite a story.
Mark, your music really speaks more to my heart, and
Appreciate that.
I feel
Thank
this
you.
connection with you, even if maybe you don't feel that way about me.
I do, Bruce.
Mark doesn't really like you, Bruce.
It's getting kind of intimate here. I feel like we should.
I love your images.
Bromance.
Doesn't like you very much, but loves your images.
Oh, Mark, your music is, it's really personal, and that really speaks to my heart. It touches me and moves me, and it's the great thing about music. It soothes the soul.
Yeah.
And that's what your music does for me.
Right on. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just know that this guy is scared producing it. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. When you talk about fear and everything, I mean, I'm one that was painfully shy growing up. And even talking to strangers,
Yeah.
I would try and avoid.
Yeah.
So people would think, oh, the guy, he's
Funny
just,
kind.
yeah,
Yeah.
And never got used to that. And now I'm doing a podcast.
I'll tell you a quick story about that kind of stuff. I was doing Pakele Live, which is a program they have on OC16, produced on Oahu. And we were at the Willows restaurant doing the show. I don't know if I was there performing or there supporting a friend. But in comes Jerry Santos of the group Olomana. I remember days, cool homie Okalu.
Yeah.
He's just a legend in his own right. And, so we had a chance to conversate. And for some reason, it leads to, hey, Mark, I gotta tell you this. I thought you was real high maka and real stuck up. I was like, oh, Uncle Jerry. Oh, no, please. I'm not like that, And I told him I probably, I just probably was super shy. You are this kind of stature, I kind of break down and, so I'm sorry if I came across that way, but no way, I'm not like that. And I always tell people that story because he made it a point to tell me, hey, I thought you was real high maka, high nose or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
There's one of those words again, Mick.
Yeah, but he explained it. I think he did.
No, but I try to be approachable
Yeah.
because, I just do music,
Yeah.
And then my wife, she keeps me in line. She always tells me, you just play music. You're nobody above, So, and my parents too, they're real big on humility.
Yeah.
So I try to carry myself like that. So,
Yeah.
and we Asians, so the eye is small. I look like we frowning all the time, or look like we mad, unapproachable looking. So always look like something bothering us. Yeah. So if we're not smiling, people think we're a little bit angry or
The word we use for Bruce is inscrutable.
intrudable.
Inscrutable. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and all the time I spent with you and everything, I know and I feel your passion for Ohana and music, culture, and it's nice to hear a little bit about your insecurities and things that you've overcome.
Yeah.
Because it just speaks about how true passion can overcome these obstacles and make things happen for you.
Yeah, I think if you have a vision, I think and you stick to it, no matter what obstacles come your way, you can get over it. So, with the support of your loved ones too.
Exactly.
That's a huge.
It is a huge
plus.
part. Yeah.
Because when everybody's against you, that's even harder. So when you have a good support system, that helps. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Can we do our lava fix segment real quick? Because
Okay.
Mark mentioned how he liked Bruce's photos. And we're up at Volcano Winery, pretty close to the crater. So I thought it'd be nice just to take a couple of Bruce's photos, take a couple,
Sure.
look at them, talk about them a little bit to get a little perspective of where we're at here.
Yeah. So I've got these shots of Kilauea Caldera with Halima'u, that crater, that pit crater on the left. And on the far side, if you can see my cursor, this is Jagger Museum and the overlook. So this crater right here, Halima'u, is about or used to be a half a mile in diameter.
Mark, do you remember the first time you saw the lava lake? Halima'u.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot remember when, but I remember, we used to go to the volcano house and check out the glow.
Yeah, that glow used to reflect off the rising gas plume.
Yeah.
And this is what happened in 2018. Halima'u collapsed. And it went from being a half a mile in diameter to over a mile in diameter. And now it's probably between 1,500 to 2,000 feet deep.
Wow. And it's kind of hard to wrap your head around what happened. But that's, I don't do the diameter radius extrapolation thing very well, but that has to be 4, 5, 6 times bigger now than it was before. There it is.
And this is Halima'u.
That's a witch's brew if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a radical
time
color,
for Halloween.
man.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. And so what's the size of the water down there?
That lake is about 800 feet, more than 800 feet across.
Yeah,
And
I
those
don't
were
know
the
depth.
dimensions when this shot was taken maybe about 5 or 6 months ago. And I know
But it's continually getting larger.
it's getting larger.
Larger and larger. It's about 3 football fields long now, something like that, right?
Yep.
I just wrote this one last week. I think it was last week. And speaking of country, it's kind of has a country feel. And so remind me if I focus on this iPad because it has the words. My memory is very poor as I get older. And that's why I don't drink. You guys hear that Ringo Starr song? The No song? So I didn't have like a real title, but I've titled this song "Livin a Dream," and it basically kind of nervous doing it all. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, how's this song go now? Okay, I gotta reach down deep and grab my little honky-tonk twang out. So I wrote this song. I don't know how it came about, but I wrote this song basically saying that, I've been living a good life thus far. And pretty much, I'd be all right if I died tomorrow. So anyway, just pretty much a gratitude song. Yeah, sort of like that. So. I think in life, I think we focus too much on what we don't have. And it's kind of like, instead of focusing on the things that actually we do have. All right, living a dream. Here you go. Brand new, like I've already performed it before. My wife puts me on the spot. Thank you. That's why I have her, huh? To face my fears. I've been blessed to say the least. In this life of mine, I got 3 healthy children and a hard-working wife. Got a roof over my head with a bed to sleep just right. I don't need nothing fancy. I say I'll be doing just fine. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. I couldn't complain if I went to heaven tonight. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. If I died tomorrow, I think I'd be satisfied. I've flown across this globe and seen them big city lights. I'd much rather have the country underneath the starry skies. I have me an ukulele with a guitar by my side, with a short glass of whiskey, and everything is feeling alright. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. I couldn't complain if I went to heaven tonight. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. If I died tomorrow, I think I'd be satisfied. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. I couldn't complain if I went to heaven tonight. I'm living the dream. I'm living the life. If I died tomorrow, I think I'd be satisfied. If I died tomorrow, I think I'd be satisfied. Living the dream. We got time for one more? Awesome. All right, so I know I mentioned this in the podcast. I tend to close with this song. So we want to send this out to Marie. And Mahalo for having us today. The wrong key. Eke Akua Nani ka mahao Nau no ihana Ka honuane Mena hoku Ka wila ka hekili Ho ike ana Iko mana Emele nino e mele ani ka olae he nanino he nanino wahana o I ka vauna hele a mena manu o ka lewapu na ka vai na mauna ki e ho I ke ana I ko nani e mele ai ka lai he nanino he nanino then sings my soul Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art. Mahalo.
Thanks for hosting, Bruce. Did a great job.
Thank
Oh, yeah.
you.
Yeah, mahalo, Bruce.
Well,
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you,
us,
Mark.
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 It was
Great.
wonderful.
thanks for joining us.
This was
It
wonderful.
was wonderful.
And big mahalo to Marie
Yes,
and
Marie.
the
Thank you,
crew
Marie.
here at Volcano Winery.
Volcano Winery. Absolutely.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
OHT, that rocks. Forgot to get the plug in.